March 14th, 2000, on Asian Man Records, we get Alkaline Trio, Maybe I'll Catch Fire. 10 songs and a very robust 35 minutes, dude. This is like the polar opposite of A Global Threat. I remember somebody recommending this. This isn't a band that I got into much until probably their next record, I think. So like a year or two later. And I quickly went back and got this album. But I've got quite a bit to say about this. So how do you feel about Alkaline Trio? Maybe I'll Catch Fire.
I used to love this record.
Yeah.
I was a big Alkaline Trio fan when I was,
I am still a big Alkaline Trio fan.
I come back around once in a while to some of their songs, but I wouldn't call myself a big fan anymore. It was definitely a band that I listened to a lot of when I was young. I had a buddy, the guy I was in my first band ever with actually worked at Asian Man Records, right? He was
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, he was in the Chinkies with Mike Park and stuff.
That's awesome.
Jason Tin, yeah. So we used to practice in his. I was in high school, right? So me and my buddy Sim and Jason were in a band. It was a ska punk band. We're called the Singles.
Let's go. That's a good name, dude.
We're just like on our corny ass, like pity, 16-year-old fucking.
Yeah, dude. I'm super into that. Let's go.
And he worked at Asian Man at that time. This is like 98. And and we'd practice at his parents' house, right? And like he'd come home with boxes of CDs all the time, and just like because he would sell them, right? Or just, I don't know, he's doing inventory for them and stuff too, right? Mike Park's label is super small. I don't know if you talk to him. It's like out of his mom's house, So back when he was doing it out of his mom's house.
It's really not a lot bigger than mine. It's weird.
It's tiny. Yeah, it's really tiny.
Like his catalog is much deeper, and he's been around a lot longer. But like just like what he does is not a lot different than what I do. It's pretty cool.
For so long, man, like mailing shit out.
Bro, check this out. Oh my god, look at this.
You got
shout out to everybody that bought. This is all the pre-orders.
Wow, all that's going out. I hope
you go out tomorrow.
Wow, you probably. I remember I wanted to save a couple. It's all right.
I got you.
You got me. All right.
Of course, dude. Of course. I got about 7 people that I've set aside a pair of them for.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
Yes, sir. Of course, dude.
And anyway, so I remember he had the For Your Lungs Only EP by Alkaline Trio, which was the first EP that they put out, right? Like in like 96 or something.
That's an old one.
And the first Alkaline Trio song that I heard was actually on the Mail Order is Fun 2 compilation, Asian Man Records compilation, and that was For Your Lungs Only. I think the track.
Okay.
With that little bass line on it. This is when they had their old bassist, I think. No, actually,
it's before Dan?
It was with Dan. It was with Dan, yeah. And Alkaline Trio used to sound different than they did after, 98, like the Private Eye era, I should say, or 2002, like Vagrant, right?
I think. Yeah, they were much more low budget, and Matt Skiba has not. I'll get into that in a minute. Continue your thought. I have a whole lot to say about this.
I feel like that band changed quite a bit throughout their career, but and I was just like, wow, this is really like interesting, like his voice and the way they play, and I feel like they had like a certain appeal to them. Like Matt Skiba's voice was very, it kind of like sucked you in. He had like a really
right.
And the way that he played bass, Dan played bass was really cool, and the drum, just everything about the song, was cool to me. And then I really got an Alkaline Trio, and I like that EP a lot. And like, and then God Damn It came out, and like that was like my shit. I loved God Damn It. Like that was like my favorite album when I was 16 years old. I think I played the shit out of that record, and I still think it's a great record. So yeah. And then Maybe I'll Catch Fire came out, I think I'm less familiar with Maybe I'll Catch Fire than God Damn It. I spent more time with God Damn It, but I listened to a lot of fucking songs on Maybe I'll Catch. In fact, I never bought Maybe I'll Catch Fire. I downloaded it on Napster.
You bastard.
Just like we all did at some point. If it wasn't Maybe I'll Catch Fire, it was a different album, so.
You bastard. Yeah. I used to work at, when I discovered this band, I worked at Circuit City, and I was working in the home audio department, and I bought From Here to the Infirmary when it came out, and that was my introduction to them. So like, okay, so Okay,
What's up?
let's see here. I put it's a complete departure from A Global Threat in every measurable way. Lyrical content, singing style, song structure, length of song. Yet I consider these both punk rock albums, and it's wonderful. This is Alkaline Trio's second album, and basically this was their messy, more raw stage before they really took shape on From Here to the Infirmary the following year. This is still a bit more raw, and you see glimpses of the greatness that'll come on their next album or so, where they would ultimately peak as a band. This is like the unpolished stone that we know is a treasure, but other people may not understand it quite yet. And it's really cool to. It's a cool point to be able to look back on and know that this album is like right before they took off. So
Yeah, they blew up pretty short.
no, they blew up big time, dude. And I love this band. They're like a top 5 band all time for me. I don't know that that'll ever change. Uh, it's I don't think it's a hot take to say that this isn't close to their best album, but it's got some absolute bangers on it. Oh man, you've got So Far to Go, the third song. It's the first song on the album that really captured my attention. Dan is such an underrated songwriter and singer, in my opinion. I've been a fan of his since like Slapstick and stuff. I really enjoy him. I like the band of Falcon quite a bit. I also love the Lawrence Arms. It's all kind of this big incestuous group of punk rock people making bands and doing stuff together. And then Fuck You Aurora is a fan favorite. Not really a song I really gravitate towards, but it's a good song. I like it. If this is where Alkaline Trio had peaked, then they would still be a legendary band. But since it's not, and they've gotten so much better over the years, this album just doesn't hold the same weight that it would had they stopped growing as a band. If they had stopped growing and this was as good as they were going to get, this would be an amazing album. We would all love it. But the fact is that they hit like another plateau and then another one after that. And in my personal opinion, their latest album might be one of their best, maybe the best. It's so good. I don't know, man. From Here to the Infirmary and Crimson are kind of not Crimson. Good Morning are so just like iconic and important to me personally.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, man, I think that this album is great, but I think that it's just if you stop here and you don't go any further with their career, this would be such a wonderful record. But they grow so much so fast, and they get polished. And I know maybe some people don't like that, but I do, man. Matt's vocals on this are hard to get through at some point. They're hard to listen to.
Yeah,
He's like real screeching, and I'm like, man, he's learned so much over the years and how to sing so
screaming.
well.
Alkaline Trio, man. Their first. This is the drummer that I prefer the most out of their entire
Okay,
group. Glenn Porter, he was in 88 Fingers Louie, also.
that's a good band too.
Yeah, so he was the drummer. The way he plays is very different. I mean, and Alkaline Trio's had like a revolving door of drummers, dude. Like after this, they got some other dude, and then some other dude, and then some other. So it's like they just couldn't keep a drummer, right? And eventually they got the guy from Suicide Machines, who's a fucking incredible drummer.
Yes.
But I don't know how long he lasted. But Glenn Porter,
he just let the band I think that was him in the band up until the last record, right?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he was. Just,
I haven't paid a lot of attention to them from here to Infirmary. I don't even know who played on Crimson or the other records, So
those records are so good.
It's hard for me to. I mean, for me, I just kind of lost interest after From Here to Infirmary. I don't know. I just didn't get into it, but I can see why people did, and they fucking exploded. But I mean, the way that this particular drummer played on this record is really, really unique. Like he's just kind of all over.
Well, you are a drummer, so you're going to hear stuff that I'm not hearing.
Yeah. I mean, I think his style in particular is really cool. Like he does a lot of stuff with like the open hats and like these crazy fills, and like it's like a messy album in a way that I enjoy. It's like you can still see them still trying to find their footing a little bit, and I think
that's kind of what I'm talking about.
But I mean, I tend to not enjoy albums as much once they're like really polished, and
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
And like they're just it's got that sheen on it, and like I know that you really like sheen, like polished records,
good production.
Yeah, and obviously later in their career they got major label budgets, they got that money, they went into the studio, they started to sell more and stuff. But this record has a lot of charm. In fact, for me, it hits home a little more because my first love and I listen to this a lot together. We get drunk.
That would make me hate it.
Well, I mean, it's nostalgic. You know,
Yeah.
I got nothing but love for her, man. You know, she just had a kid. And,
Oh, that's good. Okay, good.
yeah. I mean, you know, we
Well,
got his.
I think if I had gotten into them when they were first coming around, I might have had the same opinion you did, where I like didn't really care for their later, more polished stuff. But I
Yeah,
didn't. Like I discovered them with From Here to the Infirmary, and that's like right in the middle. It's like better production than this, but it's not as polished as like Crimson
totally.
was. And so like that to me is their perfect album. I love that record. It's kind of like Green Day, where I like Insomniac. I like that production better than I do like American Idiot and all that other stuff. You know, I don't like poor production quality for the sake of being punk rock. I appreciate good production, but
Yeah.
I also certain music I don't want it to be too produced. Like garage rock type punk, I like it to be real lo-fi and real noisy and kind of like just a little messy. But some of this stuff, man, like a Global Threat, like I said earlier, man, this record, dude, it's not as produced as some of the other stuff, but it's so I love it, dude. But I think it's a case by case thing with me. I like what I like, and I don't know how to explain it
No,
other than I
definitely.
just like it.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never thought to do this. Uh, since you do play drums and you hear stuff that I'm not going to hear on these records, if you come across a song that's interesting and it's due to some of the drums, would you let me know what it is and tell me, hey, pay attention to this so I can start hearing stuff a little better and different? I look, people can say what they want about me, but I still want to grow as a music listener.
Yeah, people can say what they want.
Oh, dude, people think I fucking suck, man. People think I'm a
Jesus.
fucking poser and shit. It's all right. I don't care.
You're
But
okay.
like the fact is like I still want to grow as a music listener. Oh, does it seem like it bothers me? I don't care, man. People don't know me, they don't know me. So you know,
Yeah.
most people that get to know me for a minute, they go, oh, never mind. You're just kind of a
Honestly,
goober.
if I can think of a cool drum part on this song, it'd be the first song.
First song?
Keep them coming. Yeah. This is one of my favorite songs on the record, actually.
Okay.
Just because the way he kind of comes in with the guitar and then the drums, and then the 14 hours ahead.
It's a good song.
Heavier than lead, and then
Yeah, that might be one of my favorites on the album too, actually.
It's I don't know. This band has a way of being really like what's the word, like self deprecating in a way that is
Well,
pretty
they're dark and they're brooding and they're kind of depressed. They're not happy
Yeah.
dudes, at least not in this stage of their career.
Yeah.
Maybe later on they got a little bit more happy, but I mean, I don't know that they did actually, but their lyrics certainly didn't. But
Matt's analogies are pretty bad though. Like his lyrics, I think compared to Dan's, he's like the weaker link.
see, and I disagree. I think I love Dan. I think Dan's super underrated.
Dan's a better
actually.
songwriter to me, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. I like Dan's songs.
If you're saying objectively, I don't really know, but subjectively, I tend to like Matt's songs better. But when Dan really steps up and takes a swing at the ball, he usually hits a home run. So it's weird. I think Matt, I kind of like more of his songs, but when Dan cranks one out, I'm like, oh shit, that was really good. So I'm growing into a Dan fan more over the years.
I think a lot of the records feature Matt more, right? So and then Dan will have like 2 or 3 in there, but like his 2 or 3 songs really shine on the record. Yeah. Like she took him to the lake is a great song.
Well, I actually put on here. I said the title track is a really good song. Dan really shows up in this album. Great melody, lyrics, a bit of a ballad. Man, that guy can write a song. So like I completely understand and appreciate his talents. I just think that Matt's vocals is what grabbed me at the very initial, like, what do I like on this band? It was his vocals. So I just think I got looped into that, kind of immediately. But yeah, look, man, I'll be honest about this album. I think that it would be kind of a one I could just toss aside if it wasn't for this last song.
Radio.
That song. That is like if I was to let people hear like 5 Alkaline Trio songs, that would have to be on the list. Okay. Because the lyrics are so fucked up. Like, and that's the kind of thing that sticks in my head. Remember that band Saves the Day?
Yeah.
That song on that album Through Being Cool, where he's talking about dig out your blue eyes and swallow them down into my colon. It's gonna burn like hell tonight. Like, because you're beautiful, just not on the inside. It's these really like sharp, angry, depressed lyrics that are just so ridiculous. I love it, dude. I love it. And
Yeah.
so when I discovered Alkaline Trio, I was like, oh man, this band's better than Saves the Day at writing these fucking mean, depressed, sad boy lyrics. I
It's
like this.
Shit.
You know what?
I think the thing with Alkaline Trio is that like you really got to lean into like your inner sad boy.
Oh yeah.
You know, and like I think when I was maybe like 17, 18, like, you know, when there's a girl you like, you're pining for her, you know.
Oh yeah.
God, if only she fucking knew, and all that shit, all that like weird teenage shit, you know. This is the kind of stuff that it drums up. But when you're
that
like
goes all the way into your like late 20s, man. When you meet a woman and get married in your 30s, you stop listening to this so much.
Yeah, I think after a while you're like, yeah, it's just weird for a grown man to be doing this.
Dude, okay. All right, man. Shout out to my boy Justin Ribs. If you're watching this for some reason, what's up, my dude? My kid's named after this guy, but we used to sit in our apartment in Austin and smoke cigarettes and play this on acoustic guitar and sing it as loud as we could and literally just mope around all day. Like, it was so bad, bro. We were so corny.
I know, dude. That's a part of it.
Man. Oh, I loved it, man. It was so fun.
It's embarrassing. It's still fun.
Oh, it's so embarrassing. I don't give a shit though. It was awesome. And I was like definitely like 25, 24, 20, mid-20s at this point.
Sounds about right.
Man. I still want to get an Alkaline Trio tattoo. I love this band, bro. It's so good. But I'm basically
tattoos actually.
Yeah.
And my boy Robbie's got one. I'm just like, oh shit, that's with the heart in the skull, you know?
Yeah, bro, it's awesome, dude. I definitely like them. Like, this is the part where I'm like, okay, this is as old as I'm gonna get with this band. Anything prior to this, I don't even want to hear. I like after this album's okay, and then after this, it's all perfection almost.
I mean, my fucking hot take. All right, my favorite Alkaline Trio record is their first one. So
that's hipster hot take bullshit. You're right.
Why are you gonna say that to me, man? Why?
Because
because
I'm not.
That's cool.
We have to argue, dude. It's been 50 minutes, man. They're waiting for an argument. No, because I know
you can't just appreciate the fact that I like the first record and be okay.
No, I don't care if you like the first record, man. Dude, I'm gonna get roasted for not liking the older ones. People are gonna call me corny or whatever.
No,
but whatever. So no, but if you'd have asked me, hey, what album do I like? I would have 100% said the first album because that really fits your mold. I know you a little bit now, and that really does make sense to me. Like, it's not in like a weird way.
If I'm telling you that I like the raw Alkaline Trio, then you know
that's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm not surprised.
You know, it's like you saying that like I like the first Husker Du album the best, right? Like that would make sense to you, right?
Well, it's like I've had people that tell me that their favorite Blink-182 record is like Cheshire Cat. I'm like, stop, bro, stop. That shit is trash, bro.
Dude Ranch, man, all the way. Come on, let's be real.
Do what?
Dude Ranch.
Oh, Dude Ranch is so good. It's their best record.
That's what I'm saying.
Hands down.
Best 100%.
Like, yeah, dude. So
I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like that's
me neither. It's so good, bro. It's so good. It's so catchy, and it's so fast. That's pretty good production. It's like not quite to the production level of like Enema of the State. It's still got like a little grittiness to it. I will say, man, listening to this, I kind of forgotten that it was like better than like a 5 out of 10. Like I would have, if you just asked me like, hey, grade this on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd have said, I don't know, 5 or 6, but I think it's probably something like a 7.5. So it's not perfect, but it's got a lot of stuff to love on this record.
I feel like Alkaline Trio, and I'm gonna draw a parallel here real quick. Alkaline Trio and AFI are very similar, right? Because AFI is one of those bands that had like this, like they had these phases, right? Like, oh, early AFI is punk band, you know what I mean? Then later, I don't know what they became, a different type of band, right? And then alternative or whatever the fucking goth shit that they're doing. Alkaline Trio is like, oh, their early stuff is like super raw. Like maybe some of their like later, like people that found them later won't be as into it, right? Maybe some people that like Alkaline Trio found them out after Crimson or whatever album came out after that, you know, and they just probably don't like the early stuff as much, you know, because it's like too different, you know.
Well, I'll say this. Alkaline Trio, you can still draw a comparison from their new stuff to their old stuff. Most of the difference, they have different songwriting, of course. It's changed a little bit, but like the production was the change more than anything. So like the songwriting, you can take some of their old songs and give them production like their new stuff, and it'll fit on a new album. AFI is not like that, man. after their like fourth album, dude, they're like a completely different band. So, well,
they just switched it
you're
up.
like, I halfway agree with that, but it's man. There's a lot of bands like that though that they just really change. I was talking to a dude from Grimple today, and he was telling me that once they started playing like the heavier, more metallic stuff, he was like, "We shouldn't even call ourselves Grimple anymore. We're not even doing the same kind of music." And I was like, "Bro, finally somebody that understands that. If your band changes."
They were called El Dopa, right? Later.
No, I think they just stuck to Grimple. I think.
There's something called El Dopa. I don't know if that's the same dude or not. And they're like,
that's a cool name.
A black metal type of band.
Huh.
And I think one of the dudes from Grimple was in it.
That's awesome.
Yep. That's them.
Was it
Yeah, they're a black metal band, dude.
I think he might have mentioned that he was listening to black metal. Maybe he said that. And I thought he said he was listening to it.
Greg Valencia, right? That's the guy you talked to.
Yeah. He was super cool, man.
I think he was in a band with someone from like Neurosis or something, and they had like a fucking black metal album.
But this was like
mid 2000s, probably.
Man, there's so many just amazing. It's funny because talking to him today, we were talking about how he doesn't listen to much new music, and I still love discovering new music. But man, I don't want to forget about the stuff that I grew up listening to because it's so important to the foundation of who I am. So I think it makes sense to go back and recapture the magic that you got on these albums from 25 and 30 years ago. I think it's important to keep talking about this stuff. I think it's necessary. We don't want to lose this stuff, man. They don't make records like this anymore, man. I haven't heard a record that's like this, bro. What was the last band that made an album like this, man? They're still like really pissed off. They're still, anti-government, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, there's still street punk bands, but like, I don't know. I feel like that one is a specific time and place, and it's a capsule, man. I love it, dude. Alkaline Trio.
Both of those albums are. I mean, we're talking 2000.
Yep.
This was like
crazy, huh?
Century, yeah. So.
What were your favorite songs on Alkaline Trio?
Let me go to this track list here.
I like your point about Keep 'Em Coming. That was a good one to.
I like Keep 'Em Coming, man. I like that one. Tuck Me In.
Good song.
She Took Him to the Lake. And Fuck You, Aurora are probably
okay.
I mean, yeah, the whole record it's not that long, dude. It's pretty short.
Well, it's 35 minutes and 10 songs, whereas the other album was 14 minutes and 27 and a half. 14 songs and 27 and a half minutes.
That's because you looked at it like pushing 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Not that it's a wrong way. I'm just saying like there's a difference. I like You've Got So Far to Go and then Keep 'Em Coming and then Radio. Those would be my top 3 on the album.
Yeah. What's your favorite Alkaline Trio record?
It's got to be From Here to the Infirmary. It's either, dude, on any given day, I can flip a coin. It's between that and Good Morning. Good Morning. Look, I will say this, dude. Their latest record is basically perfect, but I just haven't gotten enough time with it to make it that high up in the rankings. Yeah. But those are my top 3 for sure. But, dude, From Here to the Infirmary changed my life, dude. Like, I listened to that record and I was like, what the fuck is this? I was like, this shit is awesome. It's got like the speed and a little bit of the grit of like a punk rock record, but it's got like the emotional feelings of an emo record, and then it's got like a little slight dash of like the Misfits and horror and goth feel to it. And it was like stuff I wouldn't normally be able to listen to because I just didn't like it. I could get that same vibe from a punk band. I was super into it. Now I know that they're no longer really considered like a punk band, and they make more like rock and roll records, but back then their shit was fast. I saw them play back in the day, man. They played super fast. It was so fun.
This is a drummer from Smoking Popes on this record.
Oh, no shit?
Yeah. Mike Falone.
Dude, how crazy is it? All these bands that have members that just intertwine throughout their records.
It's all Chicago stuff, Smoking Popes are a Chicago band too.
Chicago's got its own sound, man. I love Chicago punk rock. I like Gainesville. I like Chicago. I like Texas punk. LA punk, of course. California shit. Yeah. Honestly, the punk I like the least is probably the East Coast stuff. I like a lot of it, but like if I had to pick, if I had to put them in an order, it'd probably fall down towards the bottom.
I mean, yeah, there's scenes and stuff,
Yeah, their hardcore's pretty amazing.
The New York hardcore.
New York and Boston. Agnostic Front, dude. Like. That band Haywire's kicking ass right now. I don't know the guys in the band, but I like the songs.
Isn't that the dude from Lucy?
Do what?
That's the guy from Lucy, right? New York Hound.
No, he was just guest vocaling in one of the songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, he's not in the band full time. I don't think so. I think
So,
he was just doing the I think because I think it said featuring Fizzy or something. But man,
right.
I think I'm
Shit.
coming up with a cold, dude. It sucks. I'm gonna feel like shit. I already feel like my voice is going out.
You're getting sick, dude. Nip it in the bud, dude. Take some fucking
I already started taking stuff, dude.
zinc. You got zinc?
Yeah. No, does that help a lot?
It does, man.
I'm gonna write that down because I'll forget.
Zinc is good, man. It ramps up your immune system or something.
Oh, nice. Okay, so I don't know much about that stuff. My mom probably would have told me the same thing. She
fucking
knows a lot
shortens
about
how long
that.
the cold lasts or whatever. I mean, you're gonna be sick. That's not, that's gonna happen. But you can make it less bad.
All right, before we get off of here, don't hang up yet, Nitty. I'm going to stop the recording, let everybody get back to what they were doing. I need to ask you a question real quick. It's just pertaining to the next episode. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. This was a little bit shorter. Nothing wrong with that. This was a really good couple of records, man. I had a blast listening to them. Let me know what your favorite record from A Global Threat is. Let me know what your favorite record from Alkaline Trio. Also, let me know some of your street punk deep cuts and what emo bands are you really into? What emotional, like super, what kind of bands? What's some of your skeletons in your closet, man? What is it called? Guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
We'll favorites from the 90s.
100%, bro. Saves a day. That's probably going to be on somebody's list. All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next Punk Rock Review podcast. I got a lot of great stuff coming up in the near future. So thank you so much for your time. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Okay? Peace.